out the door at the bottom and come up, and the bathroom was way back. And I think of it now because those old rooms, they could have had people in them.
So people would show up, what, to pay a bill or something? Why would someone go to the telephone office back then?
Well, we had a booth up there,
Oh, okay.
out in the, right outside of your.
So people would come to the telephone office to use a phone.
Well, they would use the telephone
Yeah.
up there a lot. And sometimes you'd have to wait for them to get out of there so you could go down and lock up. And I would close up, and then we had big windows on Main Street, and the taverns were across the street, and you could watch the bums coming out of there at 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock.
In the afternoon.
Wander home, you know.
In the afternoon.
No, at night.
Oh, so you're up there at
I worked a lot at
oh,
night.
okay. So the telephone office was always open?
Well, until we locked it at 10 o'clock or so.
No, but there was always someone up there.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes there was
How would someone,
2 of us.
if someone came upstairs to use the telephone and make a call, how would they pay? Was it a coin phone?
I suppose.
Okay.
Yeah. We had to listen for that drop.
For the coins to drop in.
Uh-huh. And I imagine that one out in the hall had to have a drop on it because otherwise they couldn't. I think they had to pay for local calls too, maybe.
Yeah. And so you connected everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone's telephone, I suppose party lines, but every
And the whole
line,
surrounding area.
every line came to that building.
And of course, you'd have Apple River people calling you. You know, they call from all around, connect, and
And then you could connect them to the outside world too.
sure.
So how would you make a call to New York? Someone calls
I think
in,
we would go through Freeport.
and then Freeport would go through
I think so.
some other time. I mean, so it was not, you could not connect with New York directly.
You know,
It had to go through a bunch of different people, huh?
I don't know. I don't remember.
So where did you work after that? You worked in the pharmacy after that? The
In
drugstore?
pharmacy, John Donner had the drugstore, and I worked there whenever he needed me.
So how old were you when you met Dad? Jack Lawrence Sorensen.
Probably 20.
We'll talk about that. Where'd you first
Well,
where'd you first lay eyes on that
I didn't
handsome
know
devil?
Nelda was a friend of mine. I had a lot of girlfriends, and we would do things together, you know, go to the movie and go out together. And so Nelda worked in the power, or gas and electric, I think.
In Warren?
Uh-huh. And so I went in one afternoon to see her or something. And she said, "Oh, I'm going to a show tonight in Darlington." "Oh, who are you going with?" "Jack Sorensen." "Oh," I said, "well, I don't know him." And so Nelda, well, she went to school with him, all through school. And so...
And okay, so Nelda, Cecil and Nelda, they lived when? They lived where then?
well, they weren't married. She wasn't married to Cecil.
Okay, but so where did Cecil have a farm, or did he start?
He moved on Uncle Amy's farm.
Okay, so
when
he
got
had
there.
Uncle Amy's farm,
Uh,
and then Merv.
Art and Lucille moved onto the home place, and Merv moved down to Winslow to the Thorpe farm.
Oh, okay.
Bought that farm. Then Cecil and Nelda moved on Uncle Amy's farm. So they farmed there until she wanted to go to Stockton to live. And then I don't know who had that farm. He must have rented it to somebody after that. Maybe he sold it, I don't know.
Okay, so we have
So then,
Nelda going on a date with Jack Sorensen to a
Yeah.
movie in Darlington.
yeah. And so then I didn't know him, and I really don't know when I first talked to him. Do you remember
I remember what?
when you first talked to me?
I imagine it was a war in his theater.
Well, yeah, I know. But he chummed with Freddie. And I don't know. Sometime after that, why he must have. You know what he used to do? Drive by my house all the time.
That was ready.
Must not. Drive by all the time.
Why?
I don't know.
You sure he was driving past your house, or is there another girl that lived next door that?
No, he was driving by my house.
What did your mom say about that?
I don't think I even told her. And I don't think she knew about it.
So what did your mom think about Jack Sorensen?
Nobody knew. It was a surprise.
Okay, after a little break, you got married in Chicago. Your mom was there, and then the war is going on, right?
Yeah.
Your dad's in the Army. He's enlisted. And why were you in Macomb? He was doing training
well, he
there?
had been in the Army for about 2 years, had you? When you met me? How long?
A year or so.
And he was stationed at Camp Ellis.
Wait. So he was in the Army when he met you?
Oh, sure.
Oh, okay.
No,
No.
maybe not. But it seemed like I didn't kind of know when you went to the service. I wasn't going with you, I don't think, then, was I?
So how did you, so you met when he came home to Warren?
No, I met him before he went. He was working at Savannah, wasn't he? Weren't you?
Yeah.
And then he went into the service, and a lot of the boys went into the service at the same time. And so he was stationed at Camp Ellis, and we lived in Macomb, and I worked in a fancy dress shop and sold expensive dresses to the officers and their wives.
So you had an apartment in Macomb where the two of you lived together?
Yeah, but a mini apartment.
On a private's pay?
It was,
On a private salary?
yeah.
And did you guys end up going on a honeymoon at all?
Did we
We
what?
went to Macomb.
Did you go on a honeymoon?
No. We went to the motel that night. That was our
We
honeymoon.
would come home to visit my folks. That was a vacation. And one time we had a model V8, a model V8 Ford, right?
Right,
A 37,
right.
and we were coming up from Macomb. It was about a 3-hour drive, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or 4? And we got to Stockton in the morning as the sun was coming up, and it was snowing, and the Highway 20 was slippery, and all of a sudden that Ford hood blew right up in my face. I was driving.
I was sleeping.
The hood let go, and come up in my face. We were ready to turn to go to Warren. We were on 20 to turn to go up to Warren. And we ended up in the ditch, sitting in a ditch. And a boy from our church,
In the middle of the night.
Carlisle Reiner, was driving a milk truck. And he pulled us out. Well, it was about like 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, and the sun was coming up. So it didn't hurt the car any, but the hood let go. And so we got home to my folks and enjoyed a vacation.
Now, talk about, okay, so you are, at some point, Dad leaves for Europe.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, he had to go, and
What year was this that you left for Europe? Dad, when did you leave for Europe?
49, I suppose.
49? No.
41.
41. The war was over by 45 or 46.
45 or 46, I
You didn't
suppose.
No.
Tell
Must have been
them about me sneaking out of camp every night
Wait,
in
how?
the trunk of a car.
Wait, how long were you in Europe?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years. Okay, so it must have been 41. You said.
Yeah.
Okay, so 41. Well, it couldn't have been 45 because
We
the
got
war was.
married in 44.
I was overseas at 44.
We got married in 44.
Okay, so you are. He leaves. What was that like to have your husband
Well, it was.
in a war? I mean, a bad war.
There was
for-
nothing you could do about it. You just put up with things. Everybody was. It was happening to everybody.
Yeah.
There was nobody around anymore in Warren.
There's
They
no
were
gasoline.
They were
no
all
meat.
someplace.
So-
Our food was
But
rationed.
the boys didn't go to war, right?
Because they were farmers.
Yeah.
And they were threatened all along the way.
What do you mean?
They had to go up to Darlington and see if they would be called. They were threatened all along, but they didn't go because of my dad had died, and that left my mother. She needed the boys. Art was married.
Yeah.
It was Cecil and Mervyn that were sweating it out.
Did they want to go or not?
No,
No.
no.
And did you volunteer for the army or were you drafted?
Yeah, I volunteered.
Okay. And so you're writing,
I don't think.
you're sending letters, you're getting letters back.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
How long would it take for a letter to get back or to go there? Month?
A week or two.
Oh, no,
No.
I don't think so. Probably a week or so,
So then dad comes home.
yeah.
And where did you guys move to? Or where did you
Well.
end up living?
We bought a trailer in Chicago, a 21-foot trailer, a brand new one. And I had gotten a new car in Freeport, an Oldsmobile, and nobody had a car. But I went down there and I had saved up all of the money, and there was no cars being made. Nobody had a new car. But the Snusky brothers got me a new car, and it was on the floor for show. We couldn't take it for a while. And
They didn't have the price of it.
so we had this new Oldsmobile,
For $980.
and we went in Chicago to get this little trailer house. I was working in Monroe. He was learning the plumbing trade in Monroe.
Where were you living then?
we were living at home at my Uncle Amy's and my mother's
Okay.
in Warren.
And you were commuting to Monroe?
What?
Oh,
At first we were.
You were working in Monroe?
I worked there after we moved to Monroe.
Oh, okay.
And so then we got this little trailer and put it in a mobile home park in Monroe underneath a willow tree. And it had no bathroom. It had a sink in the kitchen and a stove and a corner cabinet, real cute. The thing was cute. But we had to go to the bathroom up at the garage. And there was a lot of trailers in there. Now maybe some of them, do you think they had bathrooms, Jack?
I doubt it.
Well, I don't know how that ever worked out. One toilet up at the garage. And I worked, and he worked. But we'd go home weekends and take the laundry to my mother's.
So the question is, why didn't you just live at your mother's in Monroe? In Warren.
Well, we thought that we should have a home. And you couldn't buy a house. And you couldn't build a house back then. There was no supplies.
So this is the best. This is the only way you guys could be out on your own, practically.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was cute. But when it got to be fall in October, we realized it was going to get cold. And a Ford dealer, his son bought it. He was going to college. And they came down there, the Ford dealer's son and his wife, young couple, and just fell in love with this little trailer, and they bought it right away.
We bought it without tires, so.
We were so happy to get rid of it because it was getting cold, and that thing was cold floors and everything. They were going to take it right around Madison to probably Platteville or someplace and live in it. But it was cute inside. Jack's father came once to visit us, and he was sleeping on the studio couch in the living room. It was small. We had a bedroom, and then the rest was a living room and a little kitchen. And he was sleeping on that studio couch, and he got up in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock, and sat on the edge of the bed, and he was crying.
Why?
And he said, "Oh, Lena, I want to come home with you, Lena." That was my mother. "I don't like this bed. I want to come to you, Lena." And he was sitting there crying. He was funny.
So what? So where did you? So you sold the trailer. Where'd you move?
Then we moved back home.
Oh, to
And
Warren.
we drove
Oh, okay.
back and forth until Thanksgiving Day. We had ordered a house that came pre-built in sections. And we had a lot.
Is this the Lustron house?
No,
No, what was it?
Something
Home
like it.
Ola.
Homola. Okay.
And there was 3 sold at Dodge's Lumber Company in Monroe. And we had to put pillars in to put this house on. So Jack and Uncle Amy went up Thanksgiving Day and started digging, and it was cold. And did you lay the cement right away? Pillars. And you had 8 pillars? And here came the house, and they set it on those pillars.
Come in sections.
Prefabricated.
Yeah.
From where? I wonder.
Chicago.
West Chicago, Illinois.
Okay, so now your house shows up in Monroe.
Yeah.
And what's the address now?
2605?
no. 23, 13, 24, 13, 13th Avenue and 24th Street.
Right in
Okay.
the corner. Paid $500 for the lot.
Nice corner lot.
Now, the house is still there.
It's still there.
Okay.
And we were in it.
We paid $4,000 for the house. Lived in it a few years and sold it for
7.
6 or 7.
But he put a basement under it.
Right.
He dug it out and
With
laid
Amy, did you dig? Who did you dig the basement out with?
Uncle Amy.
Yeah.
Uncle
Okay.
Amy did most of the digging. I did all the laying of the block.
Okay, so now,
Bought a Jeep, and we used that to haul the dirt over to a neighbor's.
so this is now we're now talking about. Okay, you're in Monroe. Dad's working as an apprentice plumber. You're working in the Frito factory.
Right.
So you're there for 2 years, and then what happens?
One night when I was pregnant with Mark. And one night when it was a terrible, terrible storm. And we had this house sitting on
So Mark was conceived in the homeola and not the trailer.
Yeah, in Monroe Hospital. And we had that house sitting on teleposts because it was all dug out underneath that house. And he was starting to lay up block. And it was pouring down rain. This house had 2 bedrooms upstairs. And we were upstairs, and I came down the stairs, and I looked for a level to put on the floor because I thought that house, that it was a lake underneath there, and those teleposts were going to slide, and the house would fall in. And I wanted to see if it was still level. And I was pregnant. And then when the house got put up the first time, there was no basement. And we didn't have stuff around skirting yet. And some guy come and crawled underneath our house and was underneath there talking to the floor. And he was drunk. And we couldn't figure out why he sounded like he was in the house. And Jack went down the steps and he pushed me ahead of him. And he was going to run down to the neighbors. We had no telephone. Run down to the neighbors out of the front door and call the police because this man it was echoing up all over. And he had 2 different pairs of shoes on when he came back. And
Who did? Dad?
yeah,
Okay.
he was scared. And so then this guy, they took him away. He was drunk. And they took him away. What other episodes? Nothing else?
No.
Okay, so now where are you off to next?
It's a cute little house.
Are you off to Cobb next?
Yeah.
He wanted to have a business of his own. And so we were up to Madison.
You know,
and-
let's get the other character in this story now.
You know
Take a
what?
break for a moment. Okay, so we are back, and Father has woke up from his nap and looks fresh.
Oh, I feel French.
Oh.
We just were talking about you had just you left. You're going to leave Monroe and now move to Cobb. How did that happen?
He saw it.
I got tired of working for somebody else, and so I decided I would work for myself. So we looked in the newspaper in Madison, and here we found a place in Cobb. Well, we'd never heard of Cobb before. We found that on the map, we went and looked at the store. And, so I bought half the store for $8,000.
So you bought
half of everything.
You bought half the store from a guy who was already in business.
Yeah,
So why did he want to sell half of it?
well, because the other half belonged to somebody else. And he wanted to get out of the business, he wanted to retire. So my partner became Art Nagel. And I paid $8,000 for the store, but I didn't have $8,000. Only,
I think it was 9.
or a 9. I didn't have 9,000. I only had 8,000. So I owed him $1,000 for a year. And then they come up with $1,000.
And so there was an old apartment upstairs that no conveniences, no bathroom, no water. Chicken incubators were up there that you put chickens in to hatch. And
Where was the bathroom this time? At the gas station again, or?
it was way out in back of an old building
Warehouse.
on second floor, and there was a tube that went down.
So it was a
When you
elevated
when you
pit
went-
toilet.
It was
When you went bathroom, you said Geronimo.
it was cold back there and dark, and a long ways back there. Well, anyway,
You have a baby by now.
What?
You have a baby by now as well,
I
right?
have Mark.
Mark.
He's a baby.
Once a day, she got a 10-gallon milk can full of water, which I carried up the back steps. And after that water was gone, then she had no more that day.
My mother moved with me and helped take care of Mark. And I did have some woman that came and cleaned up the floors or something. But I got a wallpaper from down in the store that was old and crisp, but it was beautiful. And I painted all the woodwork white. And I moved cupboards from out in the shed and back and took them and made a kitchen out of a bedroom. A long, narrow bedroom. And because there was a lot of rooms up there. And the kitchen that was there was way in back in cold in the winter. And so we had a kitchen that came from Fenimore cupboards, old cupboards back there, and I painted everything and put wallpaper on, and the ceilings were 12 feet ceilings, probably 11, or 10, but they were tall. And so we lived there until we put up a new home in back, a little home.
Oh, I never knew about the little home.
What?
Oh, I thought you lived above the store. Oh, you mean not a home in back, but a home a few streets away. Okay.
A new little home. And
So business must have been good at Nagel Sorensen Hardware.
Oh, yeah. We had a little room on the side of the store, and that was all full of old stuff. We sold horse collars and horse nails and all kinds of harness stuff. And he'd go back there and dig out the nails for the horseshoes. And it was very interesting.
I had to help, I cleaned.
She's our cleaning lady.
So were you also a clerk as well?
Yeah, if I was down there. I had to do it. Art Nagel had an accident and got caught in the machinery of the hay, when you pull up hay. What do you call that?
The hay puller upper.
That's Art Nagel got his arm all cut up and nerves and everything. So I had to help and sell pipe and stuff. Then
And we bought the the old hotel over in the corner and moved the store over there. And one time she would bring me over a coffee and a donut in the morning. And
You took it. You took the donut.
I took the donut. I never did eat the donut. The same donut come back every day for weeks. And she sat on a little barrel,
Oh, no, it was
a tin barrel.
sweeping compound for the floors, and there used to be a blue tub and a metal cover on the sweeping compound. And you'd take this out and throw it on the floor to keep the dust down, and you'd sweep the floor and it would clean the floor. Well, it was right beside his desk, and people came in and sat on it. Well, I sat on it, and I went way down in. It was, my legs were up like this.
Her legs and her head were sticking out.
And
Her butt and the rest of her was down.
and I laughed so hard, and he was laughing. He couldn't pull me
The
out.
barrel tipped over, and a good time was had by them all.
But Little Cobb was 300 population, and at night, especially on Friday night, they had a fish fry in the tavern across the street. And we never went to the tavern, but he would go down and get fish. And I think it was $1 a meal. And the whole little town just smelled like fish, fish fry. It just all over the air. And the fish was real good. We'd eat it up in our little apartment.
So then you had the house,
Yeah.
and Mark went. But how long did you live in Cobb?
12 years.
Oh, okay, a while.
And then we moved to Sarasota, Florida.
And why did that happen?
Because I didn't want to go.
She never wants to go anyplace. I don't know
I
why.
didn't want to leave Cobb.
So was the hardware store business just? Why'd you leave the hardware store business?
Because it was too good. The business was too good. And I just figured we needed a change. So we bought a motel in Sarasota, Florida.
And I didn't want to leave my family. I didn't want to go.
So we took our family along.
Leave our little home.
So but the business was fine,
Oh, sure.
and so you sold your share to who? Nagel.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had that cash, and then you built the Travelodge in Sarasota.
Yeah.
How in the world did you choose? I mean, how did you choose Sarasota?
Because they were building there already. And you had a choice of where they were already building.
And how did you choose Travelodge?
Because we stayed in a Travelodge when we went to California. And he liked the idea of living in the motel, having an apartment, and being a manager and live right there. So it happened that we stayed at Travelodges at that time. Travelodge was not well known in the East. California was full of them. So we had a struggle because we were the second one in Florida, a Travelodge. I think Jacksonville was there. So it was a struggle, and we had a lot of competition, and the winters were okay, but the summers we starved. And I used to rent rooms for $5. And I had a family from Rockford, Illinois, excuse me, that we had a lovely apartment above our apartment, a big motel room. And they had 3 children, and we rented the Rockford couple that room up there. And $7 a night.